let's jump right into this explainer. Your phone starts ringing, you glance down at the screen, and you know the person calling. You actually like this person. You're literally already holding the phone in your hand. But you just watch it ring and ring and ring until, finally, sweet silence. Then, almost immediately, you shoot them a text message saying, "Hey, what's up?" I mean, think about how ridiculous that actually is, right? Literally 30 seconds ago, you could have found out exactly what was up simply by pressing answer. But for some reason, texting feels completely fine, while answering that call feels like you've just been ambushed with a surprise job interview. And you know what? It gets even weirder. Say there's a quick call you've been meaning to make for, 3 days. Booking a haircut, calling the bank, maybe dealing with customer service. The actual call, it might take 2 minutes tops. But instead of just making it, you've spent 3 whole days agonizing over it. Every couple of hours it hits you, oh, I need to call them. Then it's, well, I'll do it right after lunch. Then, okay, 3 p.m. for sure. And then actually scratch that, tomorrow morning is way better. And then tomorrow rolls around and you are right back to negotiating with yourself. Section 1, the hidden cognitive demands. So why does something as supposedly simple as a phone call feel so incredibly difficult, especially if you have ADHD? And more importantly, how do we fix it? Because the answer really isn't just, oh, I hate talking to people. There's way more happening under the hood in your brain. Just imagine you're working on something and you're finally dialed in. Your brain has spent the last 20 minutes actively fighting off every single distraction, and boom, you are in the zone. Then the phone rings. You see, a phone call doesn't politely tap you on the shoulder and ask, "Excuse me, would now be a convenient time for a chat?" No, it demands your attention now. It's telling you to stop whatever you're doing, completely shift your focus, figure out who is calling, remember how you know them, guess what they might want, answer normally, listen carefully, remember their words, and formulate your response. And you have to do the whole shebang in real time. Now, this is crucial because ADHD doesn't just mean you lack attention. It messes with your ability to regulate and direct that attention. We're talking about executive functions here. These are the processes that help us organize behavior, hold on to information, block out distractions, shift between tasks, and initiate actions. ADHD can make every single one of those processes a lot harder. So when you're finally laser focused and that phone rings, it isn't just a casual conversation waiting for you. It's a massive forced task switch. And honestly, your brain's most logical response is just, nope.
But hold on, that still leaves a big question. Why is texting a breeze by comparison? Well, think about a text. Someone messages, "Hey, you free tomorrow?" You read it, you can pause, actually think about it, set your phone down, go make a coffee, come back. You type yes, then you delete it. You type probably, you delete that too. You spend 7 agonizing minutes wondering if just saying sure comes off as passive-aggressive. And finally, you go with, yeah, sounds good. The point is, you completely control the pacing of that interaction. On a phone call, there is no edit button. Someone asks, "Are you free next Thursday around 4?" And suddenly, your brain goes into overdrive. You have to remember what day Thursday even is, recall what you're doing that day, maybe frantically open your calendar app, all while continuing to listen, not forgetting the original question, and somehow producing a socially acceptable answer on the spot. All while they sit there waiting.
And this brings us straight to working memory, which is where another major ADHD hurdle comes into play. Think of working memory as your brain's temporary mental workspace. It's what allows you to hold information in your head while actively doing something with it. And it's pretty common for folks with ADHD to struggle here. Just imagine your working memory is a tiny little whiteboard. Someone tells you something on the phone and you mentally write it on the board. But while you're trying to process that first bit of info, they throw 3 more things at you. And in the chaos, somebody accidentally wipes half your whiteboard completely clean. So you're left stammering, sorry, what was that? Or worse, you hang up and immediately realize you forgot to ask the one single question you called about in the first place. With a text or an email, the words just sit there. You can reread them a dozen times. But on a call, those words literally vanish into thin air the second they leave the speaker's mouth. So yeah, telling someone to just call them totally misses how complex that task really is.
Moving on to section 2, the role of uncertainty. Because there's another massive layer to this puzzle. And honestly, for a lot of us, it's the biggest roadblock of all. When your phone rings out of the blue, you have absolutely zero idea what's waiting for you on the other end. Is this going to take 5 minutes or an hour? What do they want? Is there an emergency? Are they going to ask me a question I don't know the answer to? Am I going to be put on the spot to make a fast decision? Will there be that dreaded awkward silence? How do I even politely escape the conversation? All that uncertainty brews this intense anticipatory discomfort. And if you happen to deal with anxiety on top of ADHD, which, let's face it, is super common, that discomfort hits even harder. It's so easy for this to snowball into a giant what-if spiral. And hey, It's not just incoming calls that trigger this. Let's say you need to call the dentist. You think, okay, time to book an appointment. Bam. Immediately your brain starts projecting every possible scenario. What if they ask for my insurance ID and I can't find the card? What dates am I even free next month? What if I can't understand the receptionist? What if they put me on hold for 20 minutes with terrible elevator music? What if? The call hasn't even happened yet, but your brain is exhausted because it just lived through 20 different imaginary, highly stressful versions of it.
So this leads to something fascinating, a little trap we call the avoidance loop. You watch the incoming call ring out, or you push off booking that dentist trip. The ringing stops, and then a huge wave of release washes over you. Now pay attention here because this is crucial. Your brain just learned a very clear lesson. It learned that phone calls equal discomfort and avoiding them equals instant relief. So next time the phone rings, avoiding it feels so incredibly tempting. You push it off, you feel instantly better, and all is right with the world. Well, for a bit, until tomorrow hits and you remember the task again. But now it's mutated. Now there's a heavy layer of guilt slapped on top. I really should have handled this yesterday. So you dodge it again. The guilt compounds. Fast forward 3 days, and a completely mundane 2-minute task has basically transformed into this giant, unconquerable psychological monster living rent-free in your head. At the end of the day, all of this boils down to one thing: a massive, combined cognitive load. This is exactly where people totally misunderstand avoidance. They'll drop that classic line, well, if you really wanted to do it, you just do it. But as we've covered in our explainer looking at ADHD and laziness, wanting to do something and actually being able to activate your brain to do it are two very, very different things. Think about the ingredients baking inside a simple phone call. You've got interruption, intense task switching, heavy working memory demands, the pressure of immediate responses, total uncertainty, social expectations, and often a dash of anxiety. You mix all those together, and suddenly that little green phone icon on your screen feels like the final boss battle in a video game.
Section 3. Why context changes everything. All right, I'm about to throw a wrench into everything I just told you. Because if it's a universal truth that ADHD brains just hate phone calls, then how do you explain this? Your absolute best friend calls you. You pick up, and somehow, like magic, 2 hours just evaporate. You're chatting about work, then venting about relationships, then laughing about some dumb thing that happened 5 years ago, and before you know it, you're deeply debating whether humans could survive on Mars. 2 full hours on the phone. Absolutely no problem.
So clearly, the underlying issue isn't just a blanket inability to talk on the phone. The secret sauce here is the context. A chat with someone you completely trust is a whole different ballgame. It's predictable, it's actually interesting, it's emotionally rewarding, and it is totally low pressure. You aren't constantly filtering yourself or worrying about saying the perfect professional thing. Nobody's asking you to magically recall a 12-digit account number, and you don't have to make rapid-fire decisions while some stranger breathes heavily on the other end of the line. You can just let your brain wander. The cognitive and emotional demands are night and day. And honestly, this gives us a massive clue about how to solve the problem. Which brings us to Section 4, Systems to Reduce Friction. Look, we don't need to magically transform into people who absolutely love making phone calls. That's not the goal. We just need to reduce the heavy friction surrounding the calls we actually are required to make. So let's build a system together to hack this. Strategy number 1 is honestly almost embarrassingly simple. Stop trying to prepare for the entire conversation. Just prepare the very first sentence. Seriously, say you're dodging that dentist call we talked about. Do not rehearse a 5-minute script in your head. Just literally write down on a piece of paper, "Hi, I like to book an appointment for a checkup." And that is it. Stop there. Why does this work? Because 9 times out of 10, the hardest part isn't navigating the actual conversation, it's just getting off the starting block. Once that receptionist replies, "Sure thing, what's your name?" the wheels are already turning. You do not need to summon the motivation for a 5-minute ordeal. You only need enough activation energy for about 5 seconds. Moving to strategy 2. Right before you make an important call, I want you to jot down 3 simple things. First, why am I calling? Second, what information am I going to need during this call? And third, what is the one crucial question I must not forget to ask? Think of this list as your external working memory. Instead of forcing your brain to juggle all this data internally while you're stressed, just outsource it to a piece of paper. Let's stick with the dentist example. You literally just write down, book cleaning, ask the price, ask for the earliest available date. Boom. Now, if your brain completely blue screens halfway through the conversation, you don't need to panic or freeze up. You just look down. Your brain's backup hard drive is sitting right there on your desk. Strategy 3. Stop letting these important phone calls just float aimlessly around your brain all day long. Telling yourself, oh, I need to call the bank sometime today, sounds super harmless, right? But what actually happens is your brain spends the next 6 hours caught in a loop of remembering, then forgetting, then remembering, postponing, and marinating in guilt. Try this instead. Bank, 2:30 p.m. By doing that, you've taken a vague, looming cloud of an obligation and turned it into a concrete event. And hey, here's an extra little trick. If the anticipation is what's killing you, don't give yourself half an hour to sit there and negotiate with yourself. When 2:30 hits, do a literal countdown out loud. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hit call. And look, it's not because counting is some magic cure for ADHD. It works because you are aggressively shrinking the window of time your brain has to invent excuses to back out. All right, number 4. If you've got a whole list of boring, adulting calls to make, batch them together. The doctor, the bank, the insurance company. Instead of paying that steep mental activation cost 4 separate times over the course of the week, just create one power block of time. Write out all your little mini scripts, gather your account numbers, and then just tear through them one after the other. It's a real game changer, because for a lot of people, riding that momentum actually makes the second call significantly easier than the first. And strategy number 5. If you're on a call that involves heavy, important information, please give yourself full permission to just say, hey, could you repeat that? Or even better, could you actually shoot all of that to me in an email? Seriously, no one is handing out trophies for perfectly memorizing spoken instructions on the first try. Externalize the data whenever you possibly can. Write it down, ask for written confirmation, put it directly into your calendar, set a reminder. Basically, let your technology carry some of that heavy cognitive load for you. Let's wrap up with section 5, change your question. This might actually be the most important takeaway of this whole explainer. When you catch yourself avoiding a phone call, you have to stop asking, ugh, what is wrong with me? Instead, I want you to ask, okay, what specific part of this call am I actually avoiding? Because honestly, those are 2 vastly different questions. Are you putting it off because you don't know how to open the conversation? Easy, write down that first sentence. Are you terrified you're going to forget something important? Jot down your 3 bullet points. Does the call feel way too unpredictable? Quickly sketch out the questions they might ask you. Are you just worried about breaking your current hyperfocus? Great, schedule a specific time for later. Or, maybe it's actually social anxiety flaring up rather than just the ADHD itself. And understanding that distinction is incredibly powerful, because once you pinpoint exactly where the friction is coming from, you can finally take steps to solve it. So let's try a little experiment right here, right now. Think of one phone call that you've been actively avoiding. Maybe it's been a day, maybe it's been a week. Heck, maybe it's been so long it's getting genuinely embarrassing. Do not make the call yet. Just open the Notes app on your phone and type this. The first thing I'm going to say is, and then just finish that one sentence. That is all you have to do today. You have just successfully removed a major decision for the future version of you who actually has to make that call. And when that time does come, do not picture the entire conversation. Your only job is to dial the number, press the green button, and literally just read that sentence out loud. Let the natural flow of conversation handle everything else. At the end of the day, this whole thing is really about shifting our perspective. Because maybe the reason these calls feel so disproportionately impossible isn't because you're rude or antisocial or just irresponsible. Sometimes your brain is staring at what looks like one simple tiny task, while under the surface, it's actively processing 10 heavy, demanding subtasks. And once you understand those hidden demands, it changes the entire narrative. So instead of beating yourself up and asking, why can't I just make a stupid phone call? You start asking, how can I make this call easier for my brain to actually start? And that, right there, is the question we care about most on the show. We're not here for excuses, and we're definitely not here for judgment. It's all about understanding the mechanics of the problem and then finding real, practical ways to work with our brains, not against them. So if you have ever stared at a ringing phone while silently begging the universe to make that person just send a text instead, I promise you, you are definitely not alone. And hey, if you know someone who constantly ghosts your phone calls, maybe send them this explainer. Just, don't call them to tell them you sent it. Send a text. Trust me, they'll appreciate it. But I want to leave you with one final thought to chew on. The very next time your phone screen lights up, are you going to let the avoidance loop take the wheel again? Or are you going to take a breath, read your first sentence, and just press answer? Subscribe for more explainers diving into the strange, frustrating, and honestly, sometimes hilarious things our brains like to do, and more importantly, how we can actually take control.